So, three times during the night, we had something going on with Seth Rollins beating the living crap out of, or not Seth Rollins beating the crap out of Dean Ambrose beating the crap out of Seth Rollins, which ended up being really cool for me because I ended up getting some points in the fantasy league for that, and that balanced out the fact that Seth Rollins officially defeated Dean Ambrose via forfeit in their match. I was disappointed in that aspect because I really wanted to see this match between the two of them. And I still really want to see that at SummerSlam. And actually, right now, that's kind of the only thing I'm interested in with SummerSlam because I'm not really into the Brock Lesnar one. And certainly not fucking into the Randy Orton and Roman Reigns match. And we just talked about the fact that I'm not interested at all in the Jericho and Wyatt match either, or Paige versus AJ Lee. So, fuck, man. SummerSlam looks like it sucks. But all these different things with Ambrose and Rollins have been kicking ass. I really have taken a step up to liking Dean Ambrose's character. I think that psycho thing that he's got going on is really good, and Rollins is playing his part perfectly well. In particular, what I liked was the last one they had of the beatdowns, which started out with the whole backstage, the security guards are following Rollins, and he tells him, like, go fuck off, I can deal with this by myself. So you're like, well, where is Dean Ambrose going to pop out of? And out of all the places, he pops out of the trunk of Rollins' car with a
That was
tire
so
iron.
that was so telegraphed though. If you looked at the trunk, it was kind of the door was kind of hovering open.
Yeah, it was actually pretty obvious.
But it
Yeah.
was funny to see that happen after they started it off with, like, he could have been around any of the corners. And then it was like, oh, he's going to be in the trunk of the car. Oh, okay, that's funny. And I enjoyed that whole back and forth that they had. I'm really enjoying this feud. So as much as I was disappointed that we didn't get to see the match itself, they did enough on this pay-per-view to make it okay for me. And by far, those two facing each other is the only thing I'm interested in with SummerSlam at the moment. Drew, what do you think about the Rollins and Ambrose feud going on right now? Did you miss the match? Was this okay?
I actually really liked that they're holding off this match until SummerSlam. It kind of makes it feel more important. Like, oh man, it's so good. They can't even contain him in one room. Just imagine how the match would be at SummerSlam. It was one of those type of things. I understand where people were mad when it came to they advertised the match and they didn't show it. But I've remembered that a lot of times in the past, and I don't really hear I never heard people complaining about it then, so I'm not really too upset about it now. I thought it was good. I mean, and later on, what they followed up with on Raw, I really liked it. So I'm all forward with what they're doing going forward. So it's A plus for me.
Way you go.
I was disappointed that they didn't have a match, but I'm perfectly okay with it because they're building towards it, and their backstage antics were a lot of fun. At the same time, I think looking back, it would have been better to have a match just because this pay-per-view was lacking something, and I think those guys going out there and doing what they do best really would have elevated the whole show. But if this is what they wanted to do and they stuck to their guns, hopefully we get the payoff at SummerSlam.
Miguel, did you get a chance to check these out?
I did check out the segments. Went out of my way to check the Ambrose Rollins segment, mostly because I wanted to see what the outcome was going to be given the points problems. I thought it was all right. I mean, it was entertaining, and it keeps the heat going. If it had just been a situation where they just announced the forfeit and then nothing happened after that, yeah, that would have been really cheap for the pay-per-view. But the fact that they had a bit of follow-up there with him chasing him through the arena, I thought kept enough excitement to where I was okay with them not having the matchup at least till SummerSlam. But with this, they're really going to have to gimmick up the SummerSlam matchup. Like, it can't be just a regular matchup. They got to have like something like a chain matchup where they have to be linked together, or a cage matchup where they really can't escape. But they got to gimmick this up if they want people to really buy into this matchup come SummerSlam.
What would you like to see them do, Baden?
To be honest, I'm not too into this feud, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for that one. I think both of these stars can do fine, but whatever they're doing right now between each other, it's just kind of repetitive and lame for me. I wanted to see a match just so I could actually see these two do that for once, and if it's just delaying it, then whatever. If they have the most amazing match in the world at SummerSlam and it all seems worth it in the past, then I'll admit that afterwards. But right now, once again, another one of the things that should be one of the main feuds on the show, and to me, it's just kind of like trailing off by the side, and I want to see more Jack Swagger. That's pretty bad.
I'm curious to see if anybody backstage would have the same opinion too. If anybody was really into the swagger thing, and if they were just kind of like, "Fuck, man, why do we got to get rid of that?" But we still have these other things going on.
Let me say this: when Dean Ambrose is on the screen talking, I'm captivated. But once that stops, I kind of forget that it even happened. So I don't know where that lays him. It's like the complete opposite of like Bray Wyatt. That when he's talking, I can't wait for him to fucking shut up, but I remember it afterward.
Oh, we have one of the most important and I would say one of the best matches, if not the best match of the night coming up next, and that's the Battle Royal for the vacated Intercontinental Championship.